The NFL draft is just around the corner, so of course everyone's excited about the prospects, but I want to talk about how these 2025 prospects are impacting your Dynasty leagues right now. With the quarterback position, there's a lot of hype. Shadeur Sanders, of course, son of Dion, he's going to get a lot of hype. Cam Ward, incredibly toolsy. But how are these guys going to impact your Dynasty leagues right now? Well, the truth is that this quarterback class is not deep. Currently, Mock Draft Database has 3 quarterbacks projected to go in the first round. I'm not fully convinced. I think that once scouts get in under the hood and start looking at the likes of Cam Ward and Shadeur Sanders, yes, they've got some tools. Yes, they've got some intangibles, but I'm not fully convinced that these guys are going to be going top 1, top 2 in this year's draft. And that brings us on to the situations. I've got 5 teams that are currently absolutely desperate for a starting quarterback. Cleveland, Las Vegas, the Jets, the Titans, and the Giants. And that doesn't include potential another 5 teams who've got question marks under center that I think are going to end up keeping their incumbents in terms of Seattle, Tampa, the Saints, the Rams, and Pittsburgh. So the veteran quarterback market right now is undervalued. Everybody at this time of the season starts looking at age, starts looking at those secure positions, but actually some of these veterans are incredibly undervalued. We're going to start with Baker Mayfield, who has been tearing it up this year. Yes, he's fallen away a little bit over the last few weeks, but his wide receiver core has been decimated. He is still only 29. I think that he potentially gets an extension this offseason. As soon as he gets that extension, he doubles in price. Based on his production, if he was under a long-term contract, he'd be being valued as around 2 first-round picks. I think you can get him for a mid to late first-round pick right now. And I think you can be confident that he's going to be a starter for your Dynasty team for at least 3, if not 4 seasons moving forward. So love Baker Mayfield as a potential buy right now. Could help you as a contender, but also a decent rebuild buy as well. Another guy I want to talk about, Geno Smith. Now, if you're a regular listener here, you know I'm a huge Geno fan. I think he's playing as like a top 5 quarterback right now in the league. But because of the journey he's been through after being a second-round pick and a number of teams not starting, people don't believe in him. But again, this is a guy that I think is going to get another extension this offseason. I've been impressed with the offense, but I think there's still some areas that can be worked out. But we know that traditionally quarterbacks take a second-year leap in an offense with the same play caller. So I doubt Grubb gets looks as head coach this year. So I think Geno could take that big step forward. We've got JSN emerging, DK's still there, and I think this offense could be phenomenal next year. So happy to pay, for me, a mid-first, a mid-second. I don't know if you have to pay that. I'd probably put him in a similar price range as Baker. But as soon as he signs that extension, as soon as Seattle commits to him longer term, you know that his value is going to increase. So even if you want to buy now, sell later, it's a great option. Another guy I want to talk about, though, Matthew Stafford. Now, it feels like every time we get to this time of year, people start talking about the rumors. There's his wife will come out and start talking about how she wants him to retire and all that kind of stuff. Look, Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay are going nowhere. This team has completely rebuilt on the fly. They've done a phenomenal job. They've got a young core on defense. They've got some elite offensive weapons. This offensive line is starting to get healthy, and I'm excited about what that could mean for this offense. I think that Matt Stafford could be a really great buy for your kind of QB3. You never feel bad sticking him in your lineup, but he's got upside. And with Puka, potentially Cup again next year, maybe add in another weapon as well. This offense could absolutely be phenomenal. And for fantasy, Matthew Stafford, yeah, it's not sexy, but as a QB2, QB3 for a contending roster, I think he's a great buy. And the price is so cheap, you'd be silly not to at least inquire. If you find this for the first time, hit the subscribe button. Stick around because we're getting to prospect season. I'm going to be breaking down the entire 2025 draft class, and I'm sure you want to make sure that you're getting that into your feed. The next guy, Sam Darnold. Now, people are currently valuing him as a potential fringe starter. There's a world where JJ McCarthy comes back. Of course, Sam Darnold's a free agent at the end of the year. People are like, I might get a similar situation where he can be a bridge quarterback for a rookie. I don't think so. I think Sam Darnold has played enough that he's going to get a long-term extension. I wouldn't be shocked if it's kind of that Geno Baker level contract where we get that mid-tier, maybe sort of 3 years, 80 million, something like that, maybe 90 million with about 50 million guaranteed, something like that. Like, I think he is going to get a shot to be a solid starter for 2 to 3 years. Yes, it's not going to be as good a situation as Minnesota, where he's obviously got Kevin O'Connell and some elite receiving weapons. But I think, this is a guy that you're having to pay kind of QB3 prices that you can get QB2 production for. So, as I said at the top, there are not enough starting caliber quarterbacks for the available teams that need a quarterback. I think Sam Darnold is going to get locked up and will probably be a starter longer term. Now, if we want to talk real bargain basement prices, Daniel Jones, I think you can probably get him for a third-round pick right now. Yes, it's disgusting. Yes, you probably don't feel too excited about it, but there is a world where Daniel Jones is signed as the bridge starter. Could it be someone that drafts Cam Ward and thinks he needs another year to develop? He could be this year's Sam Darnold, who's brought in as the bridge quarterback, but ends up starting for a year. And we know with Daniel Jones, because of that rushing ability, he is going to be fantasy relevant whenever he starts. Anytime you can get a potential starting quarterback for a third-round pick, I think you need to at least ask the question. So I really like him as a really bargain basement, potential QB4 for your Superflex Dynasty roster. And then the last guy, Russell Wilson. He has played phenomenal football this year. It's back to old Russ, it's deep shots and it's checkdowns. And that's what's working in Pittsburgh right now. They're the best they've been for a number of years in terms of chances likely to make some noise in the playoffs. He's averaging over 17 points a game this year. I think that Freudian slip there. I think that Pittsburgh sign him up long term. And I think that we're going to see at least another 2-3 years as Russ as a starter. He's only 36. Yes, I know that we've got the likes of Rodgers that's struggling at, in the 40s, but I think he can probably play at a decent level until he's 38, 39. Look, you don't have to pay the first round pick. I'd be shocked if you're having to pay more than the second round pick to go and get Russ right now. And then the final one, Derek Carr. Now, I think that the Saints need to enter a rebuild and just kind of eat their medicine and move forward to 2026 and build again. I don't think the Saints are going to do that. We've seen they've already extended Alvin Kamara. I think there's potential that they could look at some other options. I think that if the Saints end up keeping Derek Carr, he's going to be a decent QB3. They can't release him. He's got a $50 million dead cap hit. They basically save no money if they release him. But if the Saints do decide to trade him, which is the only way they're going to save money, he's starting. No team's trading for Derek Carr for him to sit on the bench. So I think he's a really sneaky buy again as a QB3. Again, I don't think you have to pay a first. I think you can get him for a single second, but that's it. 7 guys I think you should be locking up in Dynasty right now who are undervalued and are going to be starting quarterbacks next year. Are there any you disagree with? Is there anyone I've missed? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, hit that subscribe button because we've got more content coming your way.